How do you feel about being interviewed?
We were actually just talking about that, and you commented on, we asked me how authentic was I being when I was talking about those two topics that we just talked about. And you mentioned that maybe I seemed a little controlled, and was these really my deepest feelings about the topics. And you know, I think that's a relevant question, because when I do these types of videos, I think there's an element of performance, in the sense that I'm conscious of the fact that someone else might watch it, so I'm probably going to be a little more controlled in the way I speak than if we were just having a conversation randomly. I might say more stuff. And I think the other point to make is, because most of the videos I do are in Spanish, I think actually I might be more authentic when I'm speaking Spanish, because I don't have command of the language, the same command of the language as I do with English. So I'm more vulnerable, I'm more exposed, and I'm just kind of out there, and I have to run with what I can say. Whereas with English, it's my language, I have command of it, so I can put more time into thinking about how I want to come across and how I want to present myself.
So, are you more focused on pleasing who sees this, or being honest with yourself?
I don't think it's either one. I want to be, obviously, whatever I say is true for me, and I'm being honest, but at the same time, I'm conscious of the fact that other people are maybe going to watch it, so I want to present myself in a way which is accessible to people, and in a way which people can understand. So it's a little bit of both.
Do you think the people who will watch this will think of you as transparent, and you are lacking in honesty?
Well, I would say that if you're transparent, that would indicate that you're being honest. Do you know what I mean? In order to be transparent, you have to be speaking in a way which is open and honest. If you're not being transparent, people can't really see what you're talking about, or what you really think. So I don't know about that. I think maybe what you're asking is, do you think people would think I'm being controlled, or trying to be diplomatic in what I'm saying? And I think that would be a reasonable assessment, because I don't know.
There it goes again.
I try to be even-handed with what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to be extreme, but it depends on the topic. There are some topics where I'm going to have stronger opinions, and I'm going to be more clearly talking about one side of the fence than the other. There are other topics where I'm like, you know what, I can see both sides, so I don't have a strong opinion.
When you feel like you care more about a certain topic, are those feelings able to come across underneath you trying so well to...
Yes, absolutely. I think I did a couple of other videos. One was about racism, one was about same-sex marriage, and I had very clear opinions about what I was saying. Very heartfelt opinions. But yeah, I try to present my opinions in a way which is organized, and a way which makes sense. Like, I don't want to be like chaotic and dramatic and extreme, because I don't think that's really me either. It depends. You have to, when you're talking about a topic, it really depends on the context and who your audience is. The way I might talk with a friend in a hallway at work is different from how I'm going to talk in this context, when there might be a different type of audience.
Do you think the people you keep around you are much like you, in the sense they are very well spoken and they are very much controlled, if you will?
I don't think so. I have a variety of different types of friends and people that I interact with, and I don't think there's like a common thread to them all, other than the fact that I feel some type of connection with each of them. But it's not like I surround myself with people who speak in a particular way, you know.
Do you think that the people you keep around you influence you?
Absolutely. I think everyone that you come into contact with has some type, or can have some type of influence on you and the way you think about things. Certainly the people that I interact with can, you know, ask me things that I hadn't thought about, or which make me reflect on what I think. And even that's come up in our conversation today during these videos. Like, I wasn't thinking so much about how I come across, but you said a few things and now we're talking about it. So yeah.
Have you ever been accused, aside of this time here, of being...
Accused, that's a strong word.
Sure.
Accused of what?
Have you ever been accused of not being honest?
Not really. I mean, I think people in general would regard me as being authentic and sincere. Depends what you regard as authentic and sincere. Like, that could have a cultural basis to it. You know, this is the way I express myself. Perhaps in other settings, people might express themselves in a even more controlled manner or a less controlled manner. Do you know what I mean? So, depends what your perspective is and what you've grown up